Hey guys, welcome back. We are just doing a quick kids school lunch idea today, or not even necessarily school, could be at home. We are starting with a cheese quesadilla with a side salad and some strawberries with peanut butter. So we are just starting off with our quesadilla, just heating some butter up in the pan. You could use oil instead. I just prefer to use butter for this sort of thing, like quesadillas, grilled cheese, things like that. I prefer to use butter in the pan. You just want to get that heated up so that the pan is nice and hot. So when you get that tortilla in, it crisps up quite fast. So once you see that butter getting nice and hot, or oil, however, you can go ahead and put that flour or corn tortilla in the pan. And you just want to get these cooked about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. I like to let mine cook just about a minute before I start adding the cheese. That way, whenever my cheese starts to melt a little bit, I know it's time to add that second tortilla and flip over to the other side. So as you can see, that cheese has started to melt around the edges a bit, so I know it's time to check and see if I have that nice crisp brown on the other side. And I did have that, so I went ahead and added my second tortilla so that I can flip and cook the other side for about 2 to 3 minutes, and the cheese will melt the rest of the way while it is cooking on that side. And again, this would be on medium heat. So do keep that in mind whenever you're heating up your pan. And then once you get that brown crisp on both sides, you can go ahead and turn your pan off and remove the quesadilla. And then you can cut right away, or you can leave it and cut later, but either way it works just fine. My children are okay with eating this cold, so I do make these ahead of time. And then I put them in a container with a little bit of salsa for dipping, and it's kind of like, it's similar to chips and salsa for them, I guess, but it's a softer tortilla with cheese in the middle. So you can make this ahead of time, a day ahead, a few days ahead, either way. Get those prepped ahead of time, and they're super easy to just throw in a container with a little bit of, you could use taco sauce, guacamole, salsa, however, whatever works best for you. But we are a salsa household. We love salsa. My kids love chips and salsa so much. So on the side of this, I am just making a small, somewhat of a side salad. My daughter likes just shredded lettuce with Italian dressing. You could also do a little bit of shredded lettuce with sour cream, taco sauce, if that is something that your child likes, or you could just make a full-on side salad with tomatoes, cucumbers, croutons, things like that. My child specifically only likes shredded lettuce with dressing, and that is still a win for me because it could be no lettuce at all. So we're going to take it and run with it. So we have a little bit of shredded lettuce here, and then I just have another little container for some Italian dressing. And then for our fruit, I have about 4 large strawberries here. The strawberries have been so big and beautiful within the summer months, so it doesn't take many strawberries to fill up a container, and they are so fresh and delicious. And on the side, we are just putting some natural peanut butter. The natural peanut butter is preferred in our home, not only because it doesn't contain a lot of different ingredients, but also because it has a nice texture, especially for dipping, drizzling over apples, things like that. It's very thin. If you don't like that sort of thing, I totally understand. However, we really like it. It makes it easier to spread, and as I said, dipping. And we love a little bit of apple nachos here and there, which is just sliced apples with drizzled peanut butter over the top. So delicious. So we do like that natural peanut butter, so that gets some extra protein into this lunch. and also makes for a nice little sweet treat. So that's always a bonus. That does wrap up our first lunch idea with the strawberries and peanut butter, side salad with Italian dressing, cheese quesadilla with salsa. We got those veggies, protein, and some fruit, and a little bit of sweetness. So perfect, perfect. Next, we're getting into a DIY sort of Lunchable. So we have our sliced turkey here. I'm just getting about 4 to 5 slices there. And then I'm going to cut that into smaller pieces that are better to fit on top of a cracker, because we are going to do some crackers and cheese with this. You could use ham, of course, roast beef, whatever your child's favorite is, it's totally fine. We really like turkey or chicken. So we have some sliced turkey, and then I have some Colby Jack's cheese here. The cheese block, I'm just cutting that into strips and then going to cut those strips in half to make those fit on top of a cracker as well. And then to go along with this, we're going to do this is an English cucumber, just cutting the plastic off, and then I'm going to cut the ends because I did have this cucumber in the fridge originally not wrapped up, so the end of it got a little bit dry. So I'm just cutting the ends and then cutting this into strips. You could also cut it into slices. You could peel it if need be. But we are putting that in for the veggie for this Lunchable with some dip on the side. So once we have everything cut up, that only takes just a few minutes to complete. We're going to pack that up. The cucumbers are going in the same sort of dish that you saw before with the strawberries. It has the little dip container, which is super convenient. So we have the cucumbers here in the large side, and then we're going to put a little bit of ranch dressing in the other side. Of course, you could use any kind of dressing you like here. However, my kids do prefer ranch dressing, and I feel like that was the same for me as a kid, that I really liked ranch dressing for dipping. Ranch makes veggies good, right? But once we have that packed away, we're going to put the turkey and the cheese in one side of this container with some crackers in the other side. We do prefer Ritz crackers. My kids can eat those just by themselves and be perfectly satisfied. But you could, of course, use any crackers that work best for you. Saltines, Triscuit, whichever you prefer, totally fine. So once you manage to get your crackers to fit well, maybe I figured out later that I could have put those the other way and fit more, but hey, I just got these containers not too long ago, so I'm just kind of figuring out how everything fits. But to go along with this, we're just going to do one fruit, and that is going to be grapes. And like I said, you can modify these however you would like, whatever fruits your child may prefer. Totally use those. Any way to get those fruits and veggies in, I don't judge. If they have to eat grapes all day every day to get those fruits in, I'm totally good with it, because I just try to take advantage of what they will eat. And that is what we have here. I do like to keep a little bag of some sort around to keep a little trash in. It saves me many trips to the garbage, so that is a nice thing to have. But once you get all that packed up, you've got your turkey, cheese, crackers, fruit, cucumbers, and then I like to add a little sweet treat if I remember and if I can. So that's that. Next, we're going to have a hot lunch. So this will have a little heated insulated container to keep the food hot. So I'm just heating up these chicken nuggets in the oven. Of course, you can cook these ahead of time and then reheat them later. And then I have, these are like a little Parmesan crisp type thing that I make, but I just put butter all over the bread. And then once I have that butter on there, I just stick in the oven for about a minute to let the butter melt a little bit, and then I pull those back out and top with Parmesan cheese. And once I have the Parmesan cheese on there, I put these back in the oven, and I do put these with the chicken nuggets so they go in at the same temperature of the chicken nuggets. It's not too sensitive, it's just mostly melting the cheese and crisping up that bread. So about 3 to 4 minutes in the oven normally does it. And then once I have those crispy, I take them out and cut them with these little shapes. I can try to link these down below. They're from Amazon, very reasonable, and they honestly make my kids eat things that they normally wouldn't care about because it's just in a little fun shape. So these, I've had them for a long time, so the cut isn't that great anymore, but because we've used them for cookies, sandwiches, all kinds of things, so they're doling out a little bit on me. So these are just like a little, I don't know if you've seen those little cheese crisps in the store, but that's kind of what they remind me of. A little piece of Parmesan bread. You could have put some marinara sauce with them even. I think that would be super good. So I'm just putting those in this container. And they're like sort of like a cracker if you get them crisp enough, so they're totally fine to eat cold. And then I'm just adding some yogurt to the other side. This is just plain vanilla yogurt and topping with some raspberries for that nice fruity flavor. So we do get our dairy in there with the Parmesan as well as the yogurt, and then our carbs in the bread, and then our fruit in the raspberries. And just please keep in mind I didn't mention too much about the chicken nuggets because you would just go by the package instructions on those. And for this specific lunch idea, I did do carrots like the cucumbers before with a little bit of ranch dipping sauce on the side. I like to rotate between carrots and cucumbers because that is about the extent of the veggies that I'm getting over here. And then this is the insulated container I was telling you about. You can put hot food in there and it will stay hot for quite some time. So what I do is just reheat those chicken nuggets. You can reheat in the oven or the microwave depending on how much time you have, and get those pretty hot because of course they won't be like exactly the same heat as when you put them in there, but they will keep warm. So get them pretty hot and put them in the container. I can link this down below as well. And then I just have this little side container for some dipping sauce. I have barbecue sauce here for the chicken nuggets. And that completes this lunch idea. We have our protein with our chicken, and then our veggie with our carrots. And then, like I said, the dairy is in the yogurt and the cheese, and we have our raspberry for fruit. So we've covered all our bases there. So for this last idea, we have another hot lunch. I am making some Annie's macaroni and cheese just by the package instructions, and I'm using the same container again. You can just, like before, you can heat it up in the reheat it in the microwave. I recommend just cooking the day before. You could of course cook a couple of days before even if you wanted, but just reheat in the microwave, or you can reheat on the stove in a pot with a little bit of milk for extra moisture. Either way works perfectly fine. And just put it in that container pretty hot, close it up, and that will be still hot for your child whenever they go to lunch or have their lunch at home or at school, however. We did a lot of this at home in preparation for my daughter's school year coming up. So I just have some cut up watermelon here. This was maybe, oh, I don't know, 2 slices of watermelon cut up into more bite-sized pieces. And this lunch right here is pretty super kid friendly, I would say. I have lots of fruits, the watermelon, then I have a mandarin orange. These were the easy peel kind, which I absolutely love because some of these mandarin oranges are so difficult to peel. But with the macaroni and cheese, you have your dairy and your protein. We have some fruit here, fresh fruits. The summer months, I'm just loving the fresh fruit. We have carrots again with some ranch dressing. Like we talked about, you could totally do different vegetables there. You could do broccoli, cold broccoli if your child likes broccoli. Cucumbers like before, totally works fine either way. But that does close out our lunch ideas. I hope this helped you. I know school's coming up and we've got enough to think about, right? But thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe and have a great day. Bye!